We rebranded about 4 years ago now, to Bank 59, and my proudest achievement at the bank is really that initiative. We're First Bank Financial Center. We were one of 22 first banks in the state, one of a couple hundred around the country, and people were really confusing us with our competitors.
Oh, okay.
So we needed a name and an identity that really stood out, and we can get into the details of how we landed on Bank 59.
Welcome back to the Main Street Marketing Podcast. I am Skip Ranke, your host, and today we have Jeff McCarthy from Bank 59 as our special guest, and we're going to talk about marketing in the financial service world. So thanks for joining me today, Jeff. I really appreciate it. He is the Senior Vice President Marketing Director for Bank 59. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Bank 59, and tell us about what you're doing over there.
Yeah, happy to do it. Thanks for having me today. So I spent a large part of my career actually working for advertising agencies, and kind of grew up on the account management side and learning how to develop different strategies for different clients. And throughout that experience, wound up with banks as clients throughout the years. And it's funny, a lot of ad agencies don't want to work with banks. They think they're boring and
Right.
too much compliance and that kind of thing. And so somehow I wound up getting stuck on the bank clients. But got to a point in my life and my career where I didn't want to work for an ad agency anymore, and wanted to try something on the other side of the desk, and found the opportunity here. At the time, it was First Bank Financial Center. So that was a little over 10 years ago, and I've been at the bank ever since, and have a great team working with me. We're a team of four in total. Do probably 90% of all of our marketing activities in house, and then bring in experts like you guys on things that we don't know that much about. And
Right.
so we're able to be really selective about who we work with, and I love coming to work every day. It's a blast.
That's awesome that you mentioned that. When you talk about loving what you do, I love the marketing world.
Yep.
I mean, because we work with a variety of different clients, from your the bank down to plumbers down to, you get to learn so many different things about marketing and what those roles play in their business and how they're going to become successful.
Yep.
And so that kind of leads me to a question, a topic to talk about. What is the role? I mean, marketing a financial service industry, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, so tell me a little bit about how the marketing has been helping you. I mean, you guys rebranded.
We did.
And that's huge. That's a huge thing to do.
We did, and I would say the rebrand was an extension of what we do every day, and that is differentiate us from all the other banks and credit unions in the market.
Yeah.
Most people need or want a bank account of some kind.
Right.
But you drive around even just here in Oconomowoc, and there's 10, 12 different options, right? So how do you choose which one you're going to work with? In essence, a checking account is a checking account. I can get one at any of the organizations. Right. So my job as a marketer is to help people understand how we're different from all those other people. And it's not a feature of the account.
Right.
For us, it ladders up to our mission statement, which we rewrote a couple of years ago as well, which is just 3 words: make lives better. And that's how we try to operate every single day. And you look around, again, here in Oconomowoc, the holiday parades, moonlit movies in the summer, Kids Fest, German Christmas market, all the things that people really love about living here, Bank 59 is supporting.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those things don't exist without our support. And it's not just financial support, it's volunteerism as well. So what I like to tell people, and the story that we try to tell a lot, is if those things matter to you, then support the companies that are supporting those things. And we're one of them. You don't see the national banks supporting those events here in Oconomowoc.
No, you don't.
But you do see us. I was telling one of your colleagues earlier, the difference is if you are a tech guy and you want the latest app and the best technical features and all that kind of stuff, we're not your bank. Go to one of the national banks. Right. We have technology that is good enough. It'll do most of what you need, but it's not on the forefront of the industry. We're not for everybody, but that's okay. If you like that hometown support, you like the activities that make this a great place to live and work, then hopefully you're researching who's behind it and you're going to consider us. And ultimately that's our job, is to tell those stories.
And you have what? How many locations?
14 branch locations.
So with that, let's with regards to that, you're very visible in Oconomowoc.
Yep.
I mean, are you that way in all of the communities and all the banks that you have, or do you have like different pockets and different activities you're involved in all those different cities?
To some degree, it's the same in every city that we're in.
Right.
Oconomowoc gets a little more attention. One, because our corporate headquarters is here, and two, we have 3 branches here. So it is a priority for us for sure.
Right.
But in any of the locations, or any of the communities that we serve, you're going to see our branch teams out there volunteering at the local events. We're going to be writing the checks as well, and making sure that those events continue to really improve the quality of life.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit on in rebranding. I know I've rebranded with people and they come up with their mission statements. That's hard to do.
Yep.
And to get it down into 3 words and to get a tagline down to that's very difficult to do. So that's an awesome tagline. I love that.
Thank you.
So, but tell me a little bit about a marketing campaign that you did that really stuck out, that you just was like, that one is just the memorable one for the bank.
Yeah. So as you alluded to, we rebranded about 4 years ago now to Bank 5-9. And my proudest achievement at the bank is really that initiative. We're First Bank Financial Center. We were one of 22 First Banks in the state, one of a couple hundred around the country, and people were really confusing us with our competitors.
Oh, okay.
So we needed a name and an identity that really stood out, and we can get into the details of how we landed on Bank 5-9. But when we did, I needed a way to shout that identity to the community. And so we partnered with the Wisconsin State Fair, and we sponsor the largest free stage at the State Fair. It's called the Bank 5-9 Amphitheater.
Okay.
And throughout the year, they generate about 40 million name and logo impressions for us.
Wow.
So it's, certainly the fair itself, but even their sign on I-94, we've got a panel on that. We just ran a holiday ticket promotion with them. So there's things that go on all year. But for the investment to be able to deliver over 40 million impressions of the name and logo in this market was huge for us.
Oh, that's rapid too. I mean, that's 40 million impressions. That's a ton.
It's a ton. It's a ton.
I mean, you think about some of the other avenues you use to advertise and to get your name out there. I mean, let's say social. That's exponentially higher.
It is. And and every tactic that we use has a different goal, right? State Fair really is just about shouting our name and logo, that we are here, we are supporting another Wisconsin institution. People love the State Fair. They absolutely love it. Yeah. And it's good family entertainment. It's affordable. It fits our brand really well.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm really proud of, that coming right out of the rebrand, we were able to partner with them and find a partner to really help us shout that name out there, and it's worked really well.
That's awesome. Quick question for you: from flipping the brand name, I mean, you can't peg it down to a specific day, but how long did it? I mean, was it just like, oh, that was real quick for they say, oh yeah, this is, now I get it. Was it fast? Was it like a year?
No, it was over a year.
Okay.
Because there were some stops and starts along the way.
Oh, okay.
So if I condensed all of the work and meetings and presentations and research into a consistent timeline, it would probably be about a year.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of other strategic initiatives at the bank that were under consideration at the time, and it was kind of, well, if we do that, then we don't want to launch the brand at the same time, so pause that and let's figure this out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
it takes time.
It did take time, and one of the things I think that we did really well was a lot of research on the front end.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate. The name Bank 5-9, it harkens back to our founding in 1859.
Right.
So we have a ton of history to explore. We went, to the Oconomowoc Historical Society, into the library, and researched Oconomowoc and the founding of this community. And was there something in there we could play off of? And then we did focus groups with some of our employees and with our board to really understand what was important to them and what did our brand mean to them. And what kept coming through loud and clear was it was our history. It was our heritage. We'd never been bought. We'd never been sold. We never closed.
Yeah.
And you think about, for us being 1859, Abe Lincoln wasn't even president yet. So we got through that.
Wow.
We got through the Great Depression. We got through all of those things, and here we still are.
That's pretty
as
cool.
an organization. It's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Now that you think about it.
Yeah.
And when you're rebranding like that, you have to get you're changing everything.
Yes.
You're changing the philosophy. You're changing. So having the focus groups probably was one of the biggest things you did.
Yep.
Because now you got all the employee buy-in.
And it's interesting what you just said. We didn't change our philosophy, and that's part of why I think the employees embraced it really well.
Yeah.
We weren't asking them to be something different on the day we flipped that switch.
Yeah.
It was continue being who you are. Here's a brand name that reflects that even better.
That's pretty cool.
So I think that's part of why it was embraced so well, because it really did feel like us. Yeah. And obviously nobody else is going to be a Bank 5.9. A 5.9 doesn't mean anything to anybody else. But to us, it was like, yep, this is what we're all about. This is something we can hang our hat on that nobody else can. Let's shout it. Let's put it on the building.
And your customers understand it because they know the history.
Yes.
And so now that probably resonated very quickly, I would think, with the clients, with the customer
So
base.
customers embraced it. When we sent the email out announcing it, I think we got, and we're talking like 25, 30,000 emails that we sent out. We got 5 negative emails back. That was it.
5?
That was it. Everybody else embraced it. And what's really cool about it, which our branch teams love, is when somebody new walks in and says, geez, I've seen you guys everywhere. Why Bank 5.9? They've just given us permission to tell our story. And now the branch teams are like, let me tell you all about us and let me tell you about our history and our strength. So we don't have to seek out opportunities to tell our story. People literally come in and say, why Bank 5.9?
Opens the dialogue, opens the conversation, they become part of the culture, and they want to move and they want to bring their relationship to you.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's actually brilliant.
Thank you.
'Cause with being in the banking, I was in banking with a ways ago. I mean, I was with Bank One before it was Chase. And there wasn't really a story.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, you worked for a national bank.
Right.
And so it didn't have that granular local community feel.
Right.
Unless you were doing something in the community, but everyone just said, But it wasn't like a St. Well, there was the one down the street. I think it was called St. Francis.
St.
Bank.
Francis Bank, yep.
And so that was different because people think, oh, St. Francis. So, but that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So, but what are some of the biggest challenges when we talk about marketing in the realm of the financial world? I mean,
Sure.
you obviously have a lot of competition.
We do.
But what are some of the other challenges that you run into?
So, what people may not realize, banking is very heavily regulated, not only as an industry, but certainly in advertising as well. So there are things that we can say, there are things we can't say, and there are certainly things that if you do say this, you have to disclose all of that. So that can be a challenge. Fortunately for us, we have a very strong working relationship with our retail banking team and with our compliance team. A lot of compliance teams at banks start from no, and it's like, convince me. Our compliance team starts with yes, and it's okay, how can we make this happen? How can we make this work? So anytime that we offer, or publicize a rate, a product offer of any kind, there's a lot of things that the government requires us to then tell you as a customer to protect you.
Right.
So you
As a consumer.
understand as a consumer what you're getting into. But that's a whole, I can't just come up with a creative headline and slap a rate out there and go. I have to make sure my compliance team has reviewed it, that they've approved it, and that we've documented all of that, because every 3 years the FDIC comes in and does a review of all of our stuff.
Okay.
And they want to see all of the approvals and what did you run and when did you run it and who did you target. And
so you talk about a strategy. I mean, you talk about timelines of, you can't just create a flyer and send it out. I mean, it is, so if you want to send out, okay, for instance, let's say you wanted to send out a flyer for a promotion in the summer. When do you have to start working on that? Like 6 months ahead?
Well, here's the challenge is that, especially over the last year and a half, rates are changing constantly.
Oh, yeah.
So let's say I want to put out a CD promotion. Well, certainly the rate is going to be different 6 months from now than it is today. So a lot of times we'll develop the campaign and put a dummy rate in and just get that kind of fleshed out. And then I tell my retail team, okay, if you want to be in home by June 1, I need a rate by May 1, May 10, whatever it is. And then they have to sit on it, until it gets into houses, whether the environment changes or not. What's really helped us over the years is digital, because it's so much faster.
Okay.
So I don't do a lot of print. I don't do a lot of direct mail anymore.
Okay.
It's digital,
Yeah,
so that
right.
if the rate environment changes, within a matter of hours, I can get the creative swapped out and have a new rate out there. And from a compliance perspective, as long as the meat of the ad isn't changing, it's just the rate and the disclosure that goes with it, they can approve that relatively quickly.
You got to be on your toes with that.
You do. You do.
But that's part of the strategy. That's part of what you do, and that's why you have that team in place, because you got to react fast. Because, well, it's highly competitive. So if you want to if the rate changes, you want to be out there before anybody else.
And we talk about that too. It's like, okay, if we're going to spend this kind of money to go out there with a campaign, we better have a market leading rate. Otherwise, nobody's going to click on it, right? So it's not just an investment in the media. It's an investment in the product that we're putting out there too. Because if I offered you 5% on a CD, that's costing us money. The interest we're paying you is a cost for us.
Right.
So all of that gets factored in. And if we can't offer a great rate, then I advocate not to run the campaign, because it's not worth it. Nobody's going to click on it.
Yeah, and there's consumers that are probably going to be more focused on that rate. That rate is going to draw their attention. That's what they focus on all the time. But you've got probably a myriad of consumers that come in, that want a bank. We just talked about it before we started, about the relationship.
Yes.
I mean, I've had a long-standing relationship with my current bank, and I'm going to be making some changes, because I'm coming over to you guys because of the relationship that I want.
Yes.
And it's how you position the bank in the relationship side is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Because I want to do business with somebody that wants to do business with me, but the rate may not always necessarily be the most important thing.
And we find that to be true.
Yeah.
We have very low turnover in our customer base, and we usually, again, we're not the cutting edge technology bank. We're not going to be the market leader in rate. We're going to be competitive, but we're not going to be the market leader. But what we do bring is, again, that commitment to the communities we serve and the relationships that our bankers, really do create with our customers.
Yeah.
And they know that we've got their best interests at heart. So you might be willing to take 0.05% less on a CD because your banker has got your back.
Yeah, and they're going to call you when something changes, or if they think there has to be a change in your account that's a relationship-based thing.
Right, and you're not just going to get a blind letter from a corporate office in L.A. or Minneapolis. I mean, literally, we're across the parking lot from you.
Yeah, right out the back
so we're
door.
going to call you, or you could walk right over and talk to us.
Yeah.
And we're going to welcome you walking in to our branch.
Yeah.
We're not, some banks want to direct you to all their technology. They don't want you walking in the door.
Yeah.
That's not us. We want you walking through the door. We love having those conversations.
Yeah, and post-COVID, everything has changed a little bit of that stuff. I mean, just even in some other retail areas, you don't see people anymore.
Right.
I mean, you have to go to a machine. It's like, I like going in and seeing somebody say, "Hi, Skip, how you doing?" Or if they know we have a relationship, "Hey, how you doing? Come on over. I got something I want to talk about."
Yep.
That's really super important.
It is. And what's really interesting, we just did some customer research this past year with our own customers, and we explored self-service options and technology. And the analogy we gave was, okay, you go to the grocery store, do you use the self-checkout? And everybody nodded and said, yep, I use the self-checkout all the time. Okay, if we could bring that concept to our branch where you could walk through the door and you could do your own thing, whatever, would you want to do that? And this was a group of 25 to 40-year-old customers. They all said, no way. They said, when I walk through that door, it's because I want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So don't send me to a kiosk. Don't make me talk to a screen. When I walk through that door, it's because I want that one-on-one relationship.
Yeah, don't tell me to go to the app.
Exactly. So that's something I think
crazy.
we do really well as a bank is we let you dictate how you want to interact with us.
That's
and
awesome.
We're not going to steer you one way or the other. Whatever you're comfortable with and whatever makes sense for you, that's what we want you to do.
Differentiation. That's awesome.
Yep.
So what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned as a marketing director?
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on that one.
It's interesting as a marketing director because I also have a team of people, that work underneath me. And so I would say some of my most important lessons aren't necessarily marketing lessons, but maybe more manager lessons.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I hope my team would echo is that I don't ask them to do things that I wouldn't do myself. There's people that sit, I think, in the office and just direct and then take credit for everything.
Yeah.
For me, I work very hard when I present something to our board or to management. It's always we. We did this. We came up with this. We, think this is the right approach. I let my team present their own work when possible.
Right.
Because I want everybody in the bank to know that it's not just me and a bunch of people that just do what he wants. No, we're a strong 4-person team.
Yeah.
And if I am out for a week, the ship is not going to sink.
Right.
They got this. So I think that's one of the things that I continue to work on is being a good manager and making sure that my team feels rewarded and recognized and visible within the organization. I think if people think that Becky and Heather and Alyssa are great, that only reflects positively on me as well. So.
Yeah, and I can contest to that because I see we were working in the chamber.
Yeah,
your team does a lot of great stuff,
yep.
and it's not you.
Yeah,
and that's awesome that you do that.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So we're gonna go play a game.
Okay,
we're gonna go back to marketing school now. Okay,
all right.
So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay,
you gotta get the answers. So here we go. What are the 4 P's of marketing?
Product, place, price.
I know.
It's not position.
Promotion.
There you go.
All right. That's somebody called me out on this one day and I'm like, I had the same thing. And I'm like, all right. So here's the other one. There was a very well-known successful marketing campaign for Gatorade.
Okay.
Back in the 1990s. It was called Be Like Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Since you graduated from college in the 90s.
Yes.
Do you remember who the famous Mike was?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, I'm just making that. All right, here's another one. I know you'll get this one. What does SWOT stand for?
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
How often do you do a SWOT? I ask you this only at a personal because
I would say we did a variation of it when we went through the rebrand.
Yeah.
Because that was all part of the process of understanding what we did well, where we sat in the market at the time, and where we wanted to go.
Yeah, they're interesting exercises, aren't they?
They are.
We did one last year, and it takes a while.
It does.
Once you start getting everybody's minds going, it's really enlightening what you come up with.
It is.
And you're like, oh, we have to change what we're doing.
Yes.
This has to be done this way, and I love doing them.
Yeah, I did a variation of it where, again, through all of the employee and board, focus groups we did and whatever around that process, where I had people identify words that they associated with our brand, and I kind of mapped them all out on a spectrum of kind of human touch versus technology, and we mapped it all out on where we stood as a bank, and then we started crossing out the words that other banks could claim as well, right?
Right.
And you get down, again, we got down to the words that were uniquely us, were all around that heritage, and we're like, okay, there's the opportunity for us, and it's really our strength, so let's play on that.
And then people hear it, they remember it.
Exactly.
So that's going to bring me to the next part of the game.
Okay.
All right, so the question is a multi-part question, and I'm going to say, they want me to sing it, but I'm not going to sing it. Advertising jingles, and you got to tell me who it's for.
Okay.
And I think you're going to get them all.
Okay.
The best part of waking up.
Folgers in your cup.
That's right. Give me a break.
Give me a break of that Kit Kat bar.
Right on. This one you got. I'm loving it.
McDonald's.
Right on. I can't believe this one. Meow, 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 meow.
Meow Mix?
It is. I was going to sing that one, but I'm not. I'm a big kid now.
Pull-ups.
Huggies. Yep.
Yep.
Very good. They're magically delicious.
Frosted Lucky Charms.
Very good. And like a good neighbor,
State Farm is there.
All right, there it is. Awesome. Well, Jeff, thanks for joining me today. It's enlightening to hear about Bank 5.9. If you want to join a really good bank, go to Bank 5.9. They have ultimate customer service. They're just outstanding people.
Thank you.
And you're in a great organization with the marketing over there. You guys do great stuff, and I just love working with you at the chamber, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking to me today.
Of course, it's my pleasure. Happy
Thanks,
to do
Jeff.
it.
All right, awesome. Again, I'm Skip Ranke telling you from the Main Street Marketing Podcast studio. Don't miss our next episode, which is we're going to be talking about working and marketing through your local Chamber of Commerce and how important that is. That's going to be our next episode coming up next month. And please, if you like this, review us on Spotify, on Apple, whichever you're listening to the podcast, please review us. It really helps us get our ratings up. So again, I'm Skip from the Main Street Marketing Podcast with Jeff McCarthy from Bank 5.9, wishing you many, many successes. Hey, thanks for watching the latest episode of the Main Street Marketing Podcast. We really hope you got some great information. If you know somebody else who can use it, share it and like it, because we want to help as many business owners as we can. And also, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and hit that bell so as we release more episodes, we can give you even more content to help you in your business. Thanks.